Hey guys, my name is Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So it's monthly favorites time, it's April, it's been April, it's now May. So let's talk about what I was watching in April. I have so much, I watched a lot, including TV shows. So let's get into it. I'm on my Letterboxd as usual, and let's go down to the start of the month. The first movie I watched was The Sound of My Voice. I can barely remember this. What the fuck was this? Oh, you know what this movie is? Okay, so someone recommended this to me, maybe on one of my live streams, something like that. And the funniest thing is, if you enjoyed the OA, this has the same chick from the OA and the same fucking principal. It's a cult leader who's telling a story about her life and people aren't buying it. I don't know, it's fucking weird because it's got the exact same actress as well. Bizarre. Bizarre, bizarre, bizarre. It freaked me out that that was an actual thing. So if you liked the OA, definitely check that out because it blew my mind how similar that movie was to the TV show. The TV show must be based on that movie, swear to God. I thought it was okay, obviously. Next, I watched Play Misty for Me, which is a Clint Eastwood film. I really liked this film. I really like anything with people who are crazy. You guys know I really like stalker films, and it also has Jessica Walter in it, which is so bizarre seeing her young, and I know it might sound like I'm really, really young by saying that, but she looks like a different person. Would recommend. I then watched Left Behind, which has the funniest story. One, I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm not religious, but I totally respect all religions. Don't think I don't. But this was like a religious propaganda film that starred Nicolas Cage. But the funny thing is we didn't realize that when we started watching it. I live for this stuff. Not because it's a great film by any means, and I don't think that's anything to do with religion, to be honest. It's got to do with production value and writing. But we had no idea what it was, and I enjoyed every minute of it in such a cringy, cheesy way. About the rapture and all the people who are left behind, and Nicolas Cage as a pilot. So I thought it was quite interesting seeing the rapture while he's in the air. I don't know what to say about that one. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're into cheesy movies, definitely check it out. I then watched Shut In, which was such a disappointment. This film is actually, has Naomi Watts and Jacob Tremblay in it, and I love Jacob Tremblay. You guys know that I love him from Room, and it was meant to be like a thriller horror, and I'm all about that. It's about a kid who was mute, and he has some like mental issues, and Naomi Watts is his therapist, and it's bizarre and it's weird and it makes no sense, and it's not worth your time is all I want to say. I then watched We Go On, which I did do a review on. Love that movie. Check that out if you haven't seen that review. I then watched Sing. It's always good to watch break up all these horrors with a good children's movie. I thought this movie was really cute, and I really enjoyed this movie because there was no real villain. There was one like character, I think he was a mouse, that was like not like 100% like good. He was pretty evil, but he was just like mischievous. He wasn't like, you know, an asshole, and I really liked it. I thought it was cute. It was a cute movie, and I would recommend. I then watched Audrey Rose, which was, and I'll get to it because someone's asked me to do the shout out for them. Star Clark, I have your name written down here. Thank you so much for asking me what I thought about this movie. I hadn't seen it. This movie really reminded me of The Exorcist, just because it was a girl and the patterns of the way things happened, I thought was really interesting. All the actors were awesome in it. It was a very dreamy like feel. If you guys don't know about the film, it's about a young girl who like just starts having episodes, and this man appears who is actually Anthony Hopkins, and he says that that was his daughter, and his daughter died, and it's her reincarnated. It's a weird film, but it definitely reminds me of The Exorcist. I would say I would recommend it. I feel like it is a film that a lot of people, especially who like 70s horror, should definitely check out. This one and Don't Look Now, which I will talk about in a second, I really felt like had the same kind of feel to them. Next, I watched Passengers, which I was actually surprised about because I didn't think I would really like this film. If you guys don't know, it's like set in space, and it's two passengers who wake up from like a hibernation pod before they're meant to, like hundreds of years or something. Maybe it's just 100 years before they're meant to. It's quite a cute movie, I guess. I liked it more than I thought I would. I like space movies, but I don't really like the super like crazy popular ones unless they're horror. So I would definitely say it's worth a watch if you're thinking about it. I then watched The Rainmaker, which is a movie that Dean talked me into watching, obviously. But I thought it was good. Matt Damon, he's like a lawyer and he's like helping people out. But I felt like it ended really soon. Like it didn't feel like it had a punchline, but maybe it's based on a true story actually, because I feel like films that really have a punchline are actually based on a true story. But once again, another classic I hadn't seen. We then watched Candyman, which obviously I've seen so many times, but that is on Netflix, I believe. So it's either on Netflix or Stan, which is an Australian streaming company. So definitely good to have that on the go for me, because that's definitely a movie I can watch in the background any day. And it's always more terrifying than I remember it being. I then watched Don't Look Now, which is the film I said that kind of reminded me of Audrey Rose, just same type of feel. Don't Look Now was really interesting because I feel like I have spoken about this. This is a film that could be redone, and I think it would be really good to be redone. It's about a couple who are in Venice. They meet some people who are telling them that their daughter who's dead is talking to them, and it's not really about arcs and flows, it's just creepy, and the end is really good. I would definitely recommend watching that film. I then watched The Tie That Binds, which was an awful film. I thought I was gonna watch a kidnapping stalker type situation when it just turned, yeah, it was just really lame. I would not recommend it at all. I then watched Demon, which I did a review for last week. So check that one out if you wanna know more about that. It's a Polish horror. Super creepy. I then watched Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh. That was Candyman 2. I didn't actually think it was that bad for a sequel. I'm gonna give it that. But I didn't think it was great. I then watched, this is gonna blow your mind. I'm actually a huge Adam Sandler fan. I don't know, okay? I don't know what happened to me. I just, all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I wanna watch Little Nicky. Oh my God, I wanna watch The Cobbler. Like, I was all about it. And I almost was about the cringe and the lameness of it. But I don't know, I just find like it's like kind of soothing in like a sad way. One thing I have to say about Adam Sandler is you've got to 100% appreciate the fact that he writes most of his films, he produces most of his films, he acts in his films, and he writes and he does whatever the fuck he wants. You know what I mean? He doesn't really bow down to what everyone else wants him to do and make something that he knows will sell. He makes things that he actually cares about, and that's what I think I really like about him. And I know that I'm not watching a super serious film and I can just like kind of laugh at the fact of how like lame it is, but this movie was really good, and I'm gonna let you figure that out for yourself, but it is on Netflix and it's Netflix original. I then watched Finding Dory, which thumbs up. I finally watched that. I was meant to watch that so long ago. So cute, and yeah, just a nice feel-good movie. I then watched Get Out, which you guys would have seen the review for. I then watched Beauty and the Beast. Actually really liked it. I was a little bit wary at the start of Emma Watson. I thought that she was just a little bit off and it seemed a little bit rushed, but I think it's because they were fitting in they have other songs in there that aren't in the original. And I then remembered that she is actually acting to something that isn't fucking there. So I gotta give her the benefit of the doubt there. The Beast is not a real thing. But in the end, I really enjoyed it and I would totally watch it again. I then watched The Duff, which is so funny. She has this line in the movie where she's talking about wanting to watch Vincent Price, and she's not like other girls because she wants to go home and watch Vincent Price, which I thought was like so funny. Not a good movie though, by any means. Not a good movie. I then had a weird moment in my life where I decided I wanted to watch a couple of Woody Allen films at 3 o'clock in the morning. Just what I do on a Saturday night. I watched Another Woman, thought it was pretty good, and I watched Annie Hall and I thought it was pretty good. I don't know, I liked different aspects of both of those films. I really liked Woody Allen in Annie Hall though, but I liked the premise of Another Woman. Would recommend them both. I then watched Berlin Syndrome, which you guys would have seen my review on. Great film. I then watched LOL. Don't ask me, I watched this Miley Cyrus film. It was because I kept seeing the cover. I think I'd seen it on Netflix like several hundred times, and I was like, I'm just gonna fucking watch this while I like do housework, and I did, and it was awful, and I regret it. I then watched April Fool's Day, and funny story, I watched this with my patrons and my Patreon hangout. If you guys don't know, I have a Patreon, shameless plug, I'm sorry, where I watch a movie every month with them, just hanging out. It was a bad horror movie. Sometimes the best movies to watch with other people are the worst horror movies, if that makes any sense. I then watched Raw. I thought this movie was so fucking good, and I would actually go see it again. If any of you guys live in Perth, let me know. Let's go to the movies and let's see this movie again. I think that this movie is awesome and I totally recommend it. I then watched Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. meh. How did they fall in love in like 2 seconds? I don't know. I then watched 7 Pounds, which is a Will Smith film. That one of those films that you watch and then you're like, oh, I've seen this. Good film though, good film, good premise. I really like that one. I then watched The Nines, which is a film that I've been wanting to watch for a year. Someone recommended it to me a year ago. What the fuck happened in that film? I would like to know. I didn't really understand it until a little bit afterwards, and I thought about certain aspects of it, but it's bizarre. And I can't even tell you what it's about, really honestly, because it's one of those films you're watching and you don't actually understand until like the final scene what's happening. So if you like kind of like mind fucks, check that one out. Then watch Casting JonBenet, which is a documentary that is on Netflix. I guess it's a documentary. It's just about people casting the, you know, the murder or the mystery of JonBenet Ramsey, and they're casting people into the role to play her and play the characters around the family. And then they're kind of asking the people who are the actors who are getting casted in their casting call what they think of the case and what they think of the characters. So it's quite interesting in a way, but it's not a real thing. It's not non-fiction. It kind of tells you what happened, but at the same time, it's a lot of opinion pieces and who did it kind of situation. And I thought it was put together really well, but it didn't really have a punching effect for me. But I would recommend it, especially if you're into that and if you're into true crime. Right up your alley. I then watched The Void. You guys probably should have seen my review by now. I didn't really like it. Bummer. I then watched A Dark Song, which I won't tell you guys how I felt about this because I have a review coming out very soon. And then on the 30th of April, I watched Cracks, which is a movie I'm pretty sure was on Stan, and it is bizarre. It is about a boarding school and this girl comes and she kind of freaks out this teacher. I don't want to really spoil why, and the teacher like becomes obsessed with her. Those are my stalker obsession movies. I thought it was pretty good in a weird way, but it's just like this much of a huge scheme of things, which kind of bummed me out, but I'm kind of glad that also they didn't try and go more epic. So that's why I've rated it 2.5 stars, because it wasn't a huge impact, but it was like a nice chunk. Yeah, very interesting film. I would recommend. So those are all the films I watched this month. Obviously, my favorite film this month is Raw. I fucking love that movie. And Berlin Syndrome comes in second with Get Out. Documentary wise, I only watched Casting JonBenet. Yeah, okay, so I guess that would be it, but I don't really think that it was amazing by any means. TV shows, guys, TV shows. I watched 13, and 13 is a TV show about a girl who was kidnapped for 13 years, and not what happens to her while she's kidnapped, but what happens when she gets out. I don't know, it was kind of like more, I had started watching it, I really wanted to finish it. I wouldn't rate it as being amazing, I wouldn't tell you to go out and watch it, but if you're interested in that stuff, you'd probably watch it. So I finished the whole season 1 of that, and then after that, I watched Girl Boss. So if you guys don't know what Girl Boss is, it is about the girl who created the clothing brand. And so I was interested in that respect, that a couple of my items, I guess, I have in my wardrobe and I've had for a long time is from Nasty Girl. And so I was interested in watching it, but in the TV show, she's a fucking bitch. And she is just the worst character of all time. And you're just like, she's just awful. She's just really, really selfish and mean and rude and not funny at all. And just awkward, and not awkward in like a relatable way, just awkward in just a mean way. So I didn't really like it in that respect, but I do want to say that it had one of the most moving scenes or moving ideas I've ever seen in a TV show or a movie, representing what it's like to be cheated on. I probably just should have spoiler alerted that, but you need to go and check that out, because there's just a couple of scenes that happen and they're just chilling, and if you have ever been in that situation, it blew me away, and I totally would recommend it for just that. The other TV show I watched this month that I got right back into was Broad City. I love that show, and I realized I hadn't watched season 2 or season 3, so I watched them and I liked it, and it's just a fun show to have on the background because it's 20 minutes long. Just a comedy about 2 girls, very relatable, just funny and very crude, and I love that. Yeah, I watched a lot of TV this month, I guess. Another thing I did this month was listen to a lot of podcasts, that being S-Town. I'm sure you guys will know that is season 3 of Serial. So if you guys don't know what Serial is, it's pretty much the #1 rating podcast ever. The first season was, the second season wasn't so good, and then the third season has just come out. So each season is about a different topic and they just dive straight in, journalist like view, and they get really involved in the story. This one, a guy goes to the south and figures out why this guy does not fit in his S-Town, which is shit town, and all the corruption that's going on around him. And it twists and turns a little bit, and then it kind of just lays flat for a long time, and it kind of took me a while to figure out what the show even meant. You're kind of left with like an open-ended question, like what was that really about? But it's more about the guy, and I found that kind of interesting, and now he's like a legend. So definitely worth listening to if you really want to be part of like now pop culture coming together, because it's a huge show and it's a massive success. I think there's 8 episodes and they're about 40 minutes to an hour long. If you have somewhere you drive to in the morning or you take the train, I definitely would recommend it. I had a random category, but I have 2 that I really like. So I'm just gonna mention 2 really quickly. The Lobster Martyr asked me what my favorite Netflix film show of the month was. So I'm just gonna go straight back into my letterbox and find one to talk about. I guess for the month, it would have to be Sandy Wexler or Casting JonBenet, because nothing else that I really rated really high was on Netflix. But I'm sorry, I hope that answers your question. Another one I have from Danny Prism, hey Danny, is my favorite space horror movies. This is a really good question because I don't think I really like any space horror movies, to be honest. I like some space movies, but I normally like alien movies that happen on Earth. So I guess Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but that's only a short portion of it. I don't really think I am obsessed with any horror movies from space other than Alien, of course. You guys thought I wasn't gonna say that, of course. And I'm really into the trailer for the new one. I'm really psyched on seeing that now. Okay guys, it has been a long month. I don't really think I have much else to talk about but all of the stuff I've just said, but I will leave you with a monthly mission, and this monthly mission is actually inspired by one of my Patreons, Seth. He sent us all on our Patreon little chat hangout we do, his collection of DVDs, and I thought it would be really cool. I found it really fascinating, and I don't have a huge set here, but I thought it would be really cool if we sent them all to each other. So I'm gonna make a post over on my Facebook where you can leave your picture as a comment to the post and show everyone your DVD collection just in a few pictures, or just one if you wanna do the whole room or like a little section. If you don't have a huge DVD collection, maybe just pick out 5 of your favorites and show us. I think it's really cool to see other people's collections, what DVDs they really like, and also how they put them on display, because I don't have that situation right now, and I find it really motivating. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you're having an awesome day, and I'll talk to you very soon. Stay spooky, guys. Bye.